Realistically, Scotland have to beat Croatia. So what Scotland need to do, which they haven't done so far in the Euros, is to score, Graham. We'll get to that in a second. That was a really well-earned battling point from Scotland, who actually probably had the better of the chances as well.
Yeah, it wasn't just about battling, Mark. They played football. You know, they were composed. They came here, you know, a team that had a poor result first time out, low in confidence, and they played here with a bit of style, a bit of polish, composure. I thought they were fabulous throughout. I was worried about them in the second half because they put so much effort into stop England playing. I thought that might dip in the second half, it might be a problem, but it wasn't. They stuck with it, and, you know, a great point for them, but thoroughly deserved. You cannot take that result away from Scotland. They weren't lucky, they thoroughly deserved that.
They certainly did. It was a nice moment at the end. Billy Gilmour with his Chelsea teammates Mount and Chilwell. You could see the respect from the England players to Billy Gilmour and the impact he had this evening.
Yeah, of course he done really well, but forget all about that stuff at the end of the game. You know, you've got to give Scotland huge credit. Whatever they lacked in quality, they made up for it in desire and hunger, and they certainly at least deserve a draw. But for England, when you start the game, such a big game like that slowly, it's very hard to get going, and they never got quite up to speed.
They never, even though Grealish came on, they never found that urgency, really, did they? Even in large parts of the second half, Ian.
No, they didn't. You know, I was very surprised with it. The intensity in respect to the closing down wasn't there. They sat back. I think they enabled Scotland to build themselves into the game and build confidence. And in the end, chances that Scotland had, you have to say, we're quite fortunate to get a point out of that now. It's very disappointing. The substitutions confused me. Honestly, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to say about that.
Well, let's hear from Harry Kane. He's having a tough Euros so far. Here's the England captain with Gabriel.
Harry, did you deserve any better than a draw?
A draw was probably a fair result. Credit to Scotland. They defended really well. Created a few chances themselves. So, I mean, it wasn't our best performance, but look, it's another point closer to qualification. That's the ultimate goal for us now. So yeah, we just got to dust ourselves down, recover well, and look forward to another game in a few days.
Were you surprised as England's top scorer to be substituted?
Well, look, it's part of the game. You know, the manager will make what decisions are best for the team. If he felt that was the right decision, then sometimes you just have to take it. So it is what it is. Like I say, we've got another big game in a few days. Let's recover well and get ready for that.
Did you feel anything in particular was missing from your game?
Personally, or that game? No, I think it was just a tough game. You know, like I said, Scotland defended really well. Made great blocks at the right times when we did have chances. And that's football. We're playing in the European Championship. No game's going to be easy. Scotland are playing for their lives in this tournament, and you saw that today.
A draw pretty much means qualification, but you're still second in the group to Czech Republic.
Yeah, that means we've got a big game in a few days against the Czechs. Obviously, we want to finish top. But yeah, look, like I said, it's a point. It's not what we wanted, but it's one step closer to qualifying, and that's what we want to do at the moment. So one step at a time, and yeah, we go again.
Ian, here are the stats with Harry Kane during this Euros. He's been on the pitch for 156 minutes. He's had 3 shots, none on target, and in 2 games, 6 touches in the opponent's penalty area. What is going on?
Well, I think it's plain to see that he doesn't look at his best. Let's face it, but you're looking at the chances created. You know, Reece James coming into the team, one of the best crossers from his position. Hardly any crosses, maybe at the end there. Not enough balls into that last third for people to play. What's he take Foden off for? You know, there's no way Phil Foden should be leaving the pitch today. For me, you know, it's very disappointing to see. You've got someone like Jadon Sancho on the bench. 16 goals, 20 assists this season. Doesn't even get on, and we need to create. You know, we could talk about Harry Kane and the chances, what he could have had, or how many touches he hasn't had. But at the same time, did we really create enough? Did we have enough? We just looked like a team that is we're meant to be favourites to winning the tournament. And look, it's embarrassing. I was embarrassed for us today.
Does Harry Kane look fit? The question is as simple as that.
No, he does look leggy. You know, whatever about his general play, he doesn't look up to speed. He's on his heels all the time. And if England really want to compete in this competition, you need your star men to perform. We've seen Lukaku turn up, De Bruyne yesterday, Ronaldo. They need Kane at his best, and I'm glad Gareth took him off, because there's this talk about he's undroppable, he's the main man. if he's not performing, you get him off. Rashford gave him a little bit more energy, but still not enough.
He's come off in both games so far, Graham. If you were the Scottish centre-backs at kick-off, you'll be thinking, it's Harry Kane, we know what he provides. They controlled him extremely well, the centre-backs.
The centre-backs had an easy night against them. You know, Harry Kane looks a shadow of the player we know he is. In 2 games, as Roy said, he looks leggy, lacking enthusiasm. Now, I know that a centre-forward, really, and Ian will tell you this, is 90% relying on the kind of passes he's getting, and he's not getting a great deal from that midfield. And we'll get back to the England midfield, because that ain't working. I don't care what anyone says, that ain't working. But Harry doesn't look himself. He looks jaded, he looks tired, and this is a guy that's going to get a big move this summer. He needs to waken himself up, whether he's, you know, he came off in the first game. Is he carrying something? Because he looks a shadow of himself.
Graham, could he be before the competition, there was all talk about he might be leaving Spurs, and maybe he's been distracted by that. That can be an energy sapper if you think you're moving club, or he's in talks with other clubs. That's not helpful.
Do you think it might be that?
Yeah, but even if that's the case, and you're still meant to put the performance in. You know, whatever happens, you're still meant to be linking, doing your stuff, getting your shots, or getting chances made for him. We've got the players to do it. You know, we've got the players to do it.
He's your one player. England's one player that's proven at this level to get goals on a regular basis. If that's not happening in this competition, you're not going very far. You'll go back to the World Cup in Russia. His goal got you where you got to. Harry Kane not performing, I think it's a major problem for you. Apart from Harry Kane, I don't see that team. Football ain't coming home with that team, I can tell you. And not the way they're playing.
You mentioned the last World Cup. One of the big strengths for England at the time was the set pieces. The delivery tonight, nowhere near good enough. And that sometimes can get you out of jail. Okay, Stones had the head up, but general wide free kicks, corner kicks, how many times did they hit the first man? Nowhere near good enough.
There was one heart-in-the-mouth moment right at the end, Graham, wasn't there? Which was, I think, took us all back to the playground, didn't it? I half expected the referee to give a scrub to Scotland on the 6-yard line. It was quite incredible.
Yeah, and is there a shout for a penalty? It would have been extremely harsh. But, you know, I think throughout the 90 minutes, Mark, you saw your Scottish players putting their body on the line, getting blocks in. Can I emphasise this? And I want to make this point that people talk about Scotland were passionate. Scotland, you know, worked harder than England. No, they did that, but they also played better than England for much of the game. Their passing was better, their movement was better. They looked like more of a team than England did. You know, the little boy Gilmore for his first international game was fantastic. Best midfield player on the pitch. Scotland were quality tonight. I don't want anyone to leave tonight and think it was just about Scotland's effort that got them to where got them the draw tonight. They were a good team tonight in that performance.
Yeah, but what happens with that is if you're coming in to play England, they would have been worried about England without a shadow of a doubt. Of course they would have. But when you start like that, you know, especially when you've won the first game, you want to be building momentum. When you start like that, a team is going to get confidence in the game. You saw the substitutes he made at the end. There were positive substitutions for Scotland because he felt they could get something. England at no stage got themselves in a position in that game where you feel like, oh, they're getting the upper hand. And that's not good.
But for all the plaudits again, right? For all the plaudits Scotland have got, it's that top end of the pitch, putting the ball in the back of the net, and it will obviously hold them back.
That's what we'll talk about in the next part, because Scotland, if they're going to progress, have to score. So we'll discuss where that goal may come from, who might provide it. More reaction to come from Wembley. Well, there are thousands. Some had tickets, some didn't, but whatever.